Our reflection today is on human nature. Scientists have concluded that the basic human nature is compassionate, which I regard as a sign of hope. They also point out that constant fear, anger, and stress undermine our immune system. The reality is we are social animals for whom love and affection are key factors contributing to our happiness. We need to remember this because we live in a materialistic culture that does not pay much attention to inner values. This will come up again in a moment. Any negative state that is maintained within the human body nearly all day, every day, for over 4 weeks causes a change to the brain. The neurotransmitters, volume, amounts, types, and release mechanisms change. The autonomic nervous system, which is the fight or flight system, which controls blood pressure, which controls your eye focus, respiration, controls your sleep, body temperature, everything. In other words, everything that my body doesn't get controlled. It also controls immunity. Initially stronger, it then wakens from the continuous activation. The white cells simply aren't designed for this. This can be caused by pain, fear, confusion, grief, rage, not anger, as that is a secondary emotion, but it also can be caused by human-created situations, such as marital stress or warfare. Yes, marital stress and warfare are identical situations to the body and psychologically. There are many people who will cover the psychological effects and the physiological effects of what is called a neurophysiological exhaustion by using cycles of chemicals to mimic the wake-sleep cycles. This fighting of the natural cycles causes mental health mood disorders such as depression and PTSD. Those people in warfare who use the cycles of chemicals are those who are very prone to PTSD. Those who only use one cycle, for instance alcohol, to go down, are subject to depression. It is the loss of connection with our body, with the natural world, and its inability to become like a child, and the loss of humility of being human. How we in this modern world of technology work to be more than human, and thereby lose our humility, our understanding of our place in the cosmos. One of these things where the technology and our materialistic culture combine to help us lose our place, especially the younger culture and more the elder culture, is the horrible creation of a selfie. You may laugh at this, but the actual word decries the ego placement of it. It is putting the self in place of everything else, in front of everything else. It is putting the self in front of God. It is putting the self, the ego, in front of every other person, every other thing in the world. The young of this world, and by the young I mean 30 and under, have the inability to view the world unless they are in it. They don't understand the whole concept of taking a photo of a landscape unless they're in it. And as a result, they are dying for ego. They are dying for hubris and lack of humility, because they want to put themselves ahead of God's creations. They want to put themselves ahead of the Grand Canyon. They want to put themselves ahead of a great canyon that God has created by his own hand with great river torrents. But because they believe themselves to be greater than this canyon created over a century, they die for it. Their ego is so great. They believe themselves to be greater than God's creation. And for that they die. And for their competition of, oh, I have to have the best selfie. Oh, this has to be better than this. This has to be... They stand on the very edge of these peaks. They go outside the boundaries because they have to have it better than everyone else's. And for this they die. And when you consider the number of people that have died just in the United States in 2019 while taking selfies, I looked it up, 1,273 reports of death by selfie. And this is only August. It is only August. I looked up as best I could for 2018. Just in the United States, it was over 3,000 people. Through the world, as best I could, the numbers were over 15,000. And noting that there are certain parts of the world that there are no reports from, because you just simply can't get them. In China, they average 20 deaths a day on the Great Wall from selfies. And the stupidity and ego of the selfie has hit all cultures. It is not just the Western culture. The ego mania has hit even the Eastern cultures and even the traditional Muslim cultures. They are doing this. You think, okay, in Egypt, where they are wearing the traditional, they are doing it as well, and they are dying as well. So at some point, hubris will kill enough people, and humility will take hold again. But at what point that will be, I don't know. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people are dying, and these aren't just all young people. Of the 15,000 that died last year, the age range was 12 years old to 70-something. In the United States this year, of the 1,200, the average age was 32. But the age range at just the Grand Canyon was 15 to 47. So stupidity is not just in the young. People do selfies in front of the great works of art. They don't look at these great works of art. They stand and put themselves in front of it and take a picture over their shoulder, rather than looking at Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. I mean, imagine, in The Last Supper, here is Christ with his men, seeing fellowship, seeing service. You don't see them saying, oh, paint my portrait with the Christ. You don't see them pushing each other out of the way. You don't see them hip checking. You don't see them pushing boundaries out of the way, dumping courtesy, dumping everything, getting rid of all that is humanity, all that is commonality, just to take a photo with some half-baked personality that might someday be somebody. We have to restore balance. We have to restore so that people stop looking through their phones and start looking at the things around them. Don't experience everything through the damned lens. Look at it. Don't look at everything through the damn phone. Watch it. See it with your own eyes. That's why God gave you 2 eyes. You will regret forever that you didn't see it with your own eyes. Oh, I recorded it with my phone. So what? You didn't see it with your own eyes. You didn't view it with your own brain. So what if you can see it on your damn phone, a 4-inch screen? So what? Your brain doesn't have the memory. You can't bring it up again. Get smart, people. Your hubris is stealing away your life. By being humble, you experience life in the moment. By being like a child, you look at the world with open eyes and you experience it with joy, with such newness and with such an appreciation for the joy. I mean, you can look at a bunny and say, "Oh, bunny," and you just appreciate the bunny because you can see the fluff on his ears and you can see how his little face moves while he chews. But not if you're viewing it through a phone. God gave us 2 eyes for a reason, to view things through perspective. Do it.